Hey everybody, this is Jim Battenfield. I'm here with Mia Smith and MJ Ambers, both at Blue Mountain College, and we're going to be talking a little bit about you've got the Student Worlds coming up, and then both of you ladies just competed in the Collegiate National Championships in Oklahoma City. Both of you have very different experiences, obviously, unfortunately. So Mia, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to MJ. I know, as you can see, MJ is in a sling. She'll talk about it. Quite the performance to be able. Hey, it's gonna be a great comeback story when we're doing this next year, and you
Yeah.
when you're All American, and we can share the clip of this podcast.
My meet started off very good. I unfortunately got sick, so I went 4 for 9. I was third up between every attempt, but I still somehow managed to get All American and second place. So it was an ultimate battle.
I'm just learning that in real time, so it's kind of funny, and I talked about this with Cordarius and Joshua. You know, for me to have been at the meet the whole time, I know very little about how anybody from Blue Mountain did unless they were on my platform. And I think Jaden might have been the first one I got to watch live. And then, of course, Jaden was going last on everything, so it was easy, for him to be in a situation where I could watch his platform because at the jury, most of the time, with the rare exception of high school nationals in Appleton earlier this year, usually on the jury, you're watching two platforms. You're having to divide your time to make sure that you're giving everybody the equal treatment. That way, in case somebody comes from either side, you're not like, sorry, I was watching the other side. So 4 for 9 and still finish second. That's quite impressive.
It's definitely a statement. I feel like they're gonna remember me.
Well, thankfully, not for the same reason that we're going to remember MJ. Um, I'm telling you, when I read your caption, now time for the saddest recap ever. It's one of those things. So, as some people listening may not know, I'm also while I'm a Mississippi resident, I am also the Alabama State Chair. So I run that Instagram page, and I also run the USAPL Mississippi Instagram page, just because I am OCD about trying to elevate everybody to get everything. And these ladies will tell you, if you post anything and I see it, it's going to go on our story or it's going to get reposted, so you guys can get some traction. Because I want everybody to get their flowers all the time, nonstop. So, MJ, I'll go ahead and let you say a little bit about your performance in your words, and then I'm sure I'll have something to say as well.
Um, I honestly went to the meet expecting to hit podium, and it was my first year competing, so I was really excited. But throughout our whole prep, I was dealing with a shoulder injury, and we didn't know what it was, and I took a week off at a time, and then I would come back for a week, and then injured again. And like 2 weeks, I think, or a week and a half, was it, when y'all were painting the stuff?
Yeah.
It was like a week and a half before we left to go to CNEX. I was working in my bench shirt with my handler, and I was trying to work in a katana, and we were trying to hurry up and get it done before we had to go, just to see how I worked in it. And I went to go bench, and like I did in the meet, when I went to go up, my shoulder popped, and I was like, I'm done. Like, I can't keep benching today. And for the whole day, I couldn't move my arm. So fast forward to the meet, we get to my second bench, and I tried to push up. Well, I tried to go back up on the press command, and I just felt a pop in my arm. Like, immediately, I just felt pain down my whole arm. And I was laying down on the bench, and I kind of like looked over at my arm, and I was like, my arm's not moving. So I shook my head, and as soon as they took the weight off of me, my arm just hurt really bad and just shot pain down it. And then I ran to the back and told them, I was like, I just broke my collarbone. So, and everyone was trying to tell me that it was popped out, and I was like, no, I broke it.
So walk me through the thought process, because that was many, many moons ago, as they would say, before either of you even thought about. I like to think that I would have done the same thing you did, where I come out and do the opening pull, but you don't know until you're in that situation. I think every athlete, as we've gone through things, has competed with injury, has pushed through injury when we probably shouldn't. Things we probably look at later in life and go, man, that probably wasn't that smart. I think about it all the time when I go to get up and down off the couch or whatever. I'm like, oh man, I wonder if that's the time that I tightened up my wraps instead of going to the doctor or whatever. So walk me through that thought process a little bit that had you, just decide you were going to go pull an open deadlift. For those that don't know, the way scoring works, if you post a total, you still score 1 point. And in team competition, you don't know. Especially MJ, you're a light to middleweight lifter. It could have come down to 1 point, and had you had the opportunity to score that point and not, you would have been sicker than knowing you were hurt because you're already hurt. What kind of thought process did you have going into deciding to go out and do a deadlift opener, or what made you choose 70 kilos? So,
I would say Coach Jay and Bethany first told me, they were like, it's just popped out. And I was like, okay, we'll pop back in. I want to finish the meet. And Coach Jay was like, well, we don't know for sure if it's popped out. And in my head, I was just like, I just want to finish the meet. Like, that's all I really wanted to do at that moment was finish. And then they got someone who was a doctor to come look at it. And they were like, I can't really tell, like, from just looking at it if it's broken or if it's popped out. And I was like, well, if it's popped out, can you just pop it back in before I have to go deadlift? And he was like, I think you should go to the doctor. And I was like, well, crap. So Bethany and Coach Jay were talking, and they were like, what do you want to do? Coach Jay was like, you can post a total, or you can just go ahead and go to the hospital. And I was like, I would rather at least pull once and then leave. And the weight was picked by Coach Jay. I think that was like the first weight he said, and they put it on the bar in the back. Let me warm up. They just let me do it. And I did it, and I didn't feel like that much pain. And I was like, yeah, this is fine. And then I just went out there and I did it. But I was in the back crying the whole time because they were like, I can't believe you're doing this. They were like, you're crazy. Like, I wouldn't do this. And I was like, I want to finish. So it was, I don't know, it was really emotional for me more than anything.
oh, well, I tell you what, going back and watching it secondhand, it's something. Having had athletes in those positions, having been in similar situations myself, and not anywhere near that stage, it's quite impressive. And it's something that leaves an impact more than you know. 'Cause I've had some people with quite the resume message me saying, "So she did what?" Because I shared it, obviously not only in USA PLMS, but I said something on my own page through attrition because I'm old and been around powerlifting for a long time. I've got a bunch of contacts that have also been around a long time, and they were just us old school guys, like I said, we all think we would just in a flash do that, but to actually do it is another thing. So I mean, cheers to you for that. It's something, and we're rooting. Now I understand you're having surgery on April 24th.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What kind of did they give you a window of recovery for that?
No, they just told me that I would recover faster if I got the surgery rather than letting it heal. And the only thing that I heard is I would recover faster. So that's why I said yes.
Just quite impressive, and I can't wait to watch the comeback as we go. I know I'll have a front row seat for a lot of that stuff, so I can't wait to watch. So, all right. So now I'm going to try to shift gears and back to a more positive tone a little bit. Mia, you're getting ready for the first IDFPA Student Worlds in Boston, hosted by my friend Eric Cordero. Do you anticipate, one, how's your prep been, recovering from this? Mia, talk about your prep a little bit, how you're feeling going into this, because we are getting pretty close at this point. It's quite exciting to be able to lift in that first world championship in the new federation.
I'm pretty excited about it. More so worried about the recovery from CNAX because the turnaround time is so short. But I've been training mostly raw before I get into my equipment closer to comp day. I'm looking forward to seeing how I can place against everybody, and I just really can't wait to see how they have it set up with this being the first one.
Well, I can tell you, I was in Massachusetts just for a local meet, and I say it was a local meet, but it was their state championship. And as we've gone along, state championships tend to mean more and more. I mean, we had a good setup in January when we hosted our state championship at Peak. It pales in comparison to what they had put together for their state championship in Massachusetts, and so I really think they're going to pull out all the stops. I know he's got quite the meet staff. It's something, but I think you're gonna have a great time. I was up there in November. It was a first class event. I don't expect anything less.
I'm excited, but I'm a little nervous just because of the short turnaround time. But I think it's going to be good, especially since I'm in equipment. So I think I can pull it off.
Well, I tell you, anybody that's listening that's not in equipment, the best thing about being in equipment is, like, if you're raw and you miss, you're not going to get stronger between your first and second attempt. But if something goes wrong, we can adjust that bench shirt as long as you know your collarbone's okay, and we can adjust that. We can adjust that bench shirt. We can adjust your straps. We can tighten those wraps. All these little cutesy things we can do. So if you haven't done equipment, try it out. Equip Nationals, I know, has plenty of space while Raw Nats is filling up. And I was just talking to my QT-wise. A lifter that's coming back was asking me about, hey, what's the QTs? I said in the QTs, I was like, oh, well, this is equipped and this is raw. And don't worry, no, I did not mix those up because it's like 110 kilos difference. Like, I would shoot for equipped and just kind of see what happens from there, whether you put on equipment or not.
Yeah.
So, Mia, what did you finish with for your lifts at collegiates?
I'm not sure what my final total was. I only got my openers on squat and deadlift, but on bench I got 2 attempts, so it was a little better. I didn't even honestly look at my total. I didn't want to know. I just knew I wasn't doing what I had hoped for. So it was a big letdown as far as performance-wise, but placement-wise, I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah. Well, that's a positive when things don't go the way you like and you still end up ultimately with a positive result. So you just have to take those as you can get them. And it's very not Mississippi to get 2 benches if you're going to go 4 for 9. So
Yeah.
for the longest time, we would show up and, man, we were squatting last, but you better get out of that suit quick because we were benching first. That goes back when I was coaching Coach Jay. He was squatting toward the end. I was like, all right, man, we got to get out of that suit. It's time to bench. It's like, how long I got? I'm like, 10 minutes. Because this is before the 20-minute break because it used to be 10 minutes between flights.
Yeah.
Mia, I know you also do some photography. The
Yeah.
Instagram is shoots with Mia, not shots with Mia. Shots would be the end result of what you get.
Yes.
And MJ, you're getting ready to go into surgery here in just a few days. Blue Mountain right now is the biggest presence in Mississippi, so you guys are going to get to be on a lot initially, and then as we build this thing up and other people are on it, that's going to be a result of things we've done because of what you guys have put together. And as somebody that has been a part of that process before and building things up, being able to watch what you guys have done, especially with Jarrell being around. I like to take the blame for him being around, so sorry about that. But it's real cool. Even all these years later. So I got a question from in-house from Stay Ready, Cordarius Harris for MJ. What are you most excited about for your recovery for once it's over?
Being able to work out again. I got super sad when I walked into the facility today because everyone was working out and I can't. I didn't realize how much powerlifting actually meant to me until don't do that.
Hey, look, I do it a lot, so you're not going to hear anything from me.
Yep, I've been crying so much. I'm trying to stop. I'm too emotional right now.
Well, hey, you know what? I think the longer that you're around doing this stuff, the more it means to you. And down because the more you're around, the more that stuff's going to happen. It's hard not to be emotional about powerlifting sometimes. So don't feel bad about that. I will cry openly, and that's in the ballrooms and not care. So, but anyway, so that notwithstanding, so we've got Student World Cup coming up. Mia, are you going to also be making the trip to Pennsylvania as well?
For Equip Nationals,
Yes.
I have not entirely decided. I want to see how Worlds goes as far as prep goes, and I want to see what kind of total I can put up before I fully lock in on Equip Nationals.
Yep. I mean, hey, that totally makes sense. I know the turnaround isn't near as bad as trying to do that. It's the only thing that's unfortunate when you do stuff like this. We used to years ago. I used to take a team to teen and juniors, and if somebody lifted in high schools or in collegiates, that meet would be in early June, and it was a tough turnaround. You're talking about 8 to 10 weeks. I mean, you're talking about you're doing it 4 or 5 weeks.
More about 4.5.
Yeah. So
It's
it's a tough turnaround. It's good to it's good to have youth on your side with that stuff. It still takes a toll, especially with equipment.
Mhm.
So we'll kind of wrap up here. Is there anything you guys would like to add about what BMC or what powerlifting means to you, or what makes you excited about powerlifting in the state of Mississippi, or any backstory about how you found powerlifting that you would like to add?
Not that soccer player and then dated the wrong person. And he introduced me to powerlifting. And Coach Jay asked me to join the team, and I said, yeah.
That is definitely a
I,
blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
so I love when they're like, I was a cheerleader, I was a golfer, I was a tennis player, and they're like, I just happened to find powerlifting. It's
Yeah, that's crazy.
there, yeah, there's a ton of people that don't start lifting until their 40s, and or ever how people find it. I mean, like for me, I had the most common route. I was a football player, and so it's just kind of like, hey, I'm a football player and I'm big. I'm gonna go. You mean I can lift weights and I don't have to go run after? Absolutely, sign me up. And then, um, you know, 25 years later, here I am still doing it. So, and yeah. So thank you, young ladies, for giving me some time today. Mia, I know it's shoots with Mia for your photography page, and then it's
Mhm.
Daisy Lifts for your lifting page. Is that the two
Yes.
you want to share?
Yes.
Both on Instagram, and then
Hmm.
it's lift with MJ.
MJ lifts 22.
That's right, MJ Lifts 22. You can find these young ladies on Instagram. If you have any questions that I didn't ask, feel free to add because I can always call them back when we do this again. Ladies, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it, and try to keep Coach Jay straight, as
We'll
troublesome
try.
as that may be.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right,
Thank
y'all have a good day.
you.
Thank you very much. Yes,
You
ma'am.
too.
You
Thank
too.
you.